That's too much movement. I touch my screen, I'll lose you. Are we on?
Yep,
Vicki?
and you're being, yeah, the recording is on, so you're ready.
Okay, we'll call a meeting. We'll do roll call. Start with Kim,
Yes, here.
Lori, yes, Dustin.
Here.
That's all I got on my screen is
Ashley is here.
Ashley, I don't have you on my screen. I got others. Okay, and then is, all of a sudden when,
Paul is here.
when we start, the only thing we got to, Vicki said we need to take a roll call on every we're supposed to do a double roll call. So when they rebroadcast it, they don't know how we vote, so. Is Paul here?
Yes, here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had everybody down. All right, we might just as well start right away. We'll go right, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm looking at this a little different. Are there any agenda amendments? For you, Shar, do we need to add the golf board minute? I know
Yes,
that they.
Yes, we do. Yes. I think I sent a copy out to the council earlier today. I don't know if you had a chance to look at them.
I'm gonna put it under new, I'm gonna put it under new business.
Okay,
Then we'll approve them separately.
okay.
Somebody wanna make a motion on agenda amendments?
I'll offer, Ashley.
A
I'll
second?
second, Kim.
We'll do all those in favor?
Aye.
I think that one's okay.
All right.
We'll go into public participation. We'll go right to Dr. Al and Summer Rec. I don't see them on my screen. Are they on?
I believe Dr. Al's not going to be on. He had a conflict. He sent a letter out. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. The
I did.
council. Yeah, well, it came out late this afternoon. He's recommending that basically to keep the pool closed for the 2020 season. You should each have an email showing him with his letter, I believe. That was one of the things, and I think Jill Dale is on here too, and she has an idea of what they can do for summer rec.
Okay, is she on or?
Yes, if she can be on, she's here.
Okay, you want her to go ahead yeah, we probably should just do that. Have her go ahead and explain this and then we can vote on it.
Okay, so should I take that as a note to start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so as you guys can see, I submitted some information about Summer Rec. I basically did it because of what was happening. We're kind of like losing a few of the programs. You know, the school has decided to not have school for the rest of the year. So they're doing their distance learning, and that means that we will not also be able to use their facilities for the Summer Rec program, which in the past we have used for volleyball, and we have used it for the craft classes. Talking with the past craft coordinator, Ms. Martinez, she is not willing to continue with the craft this summer due to what's happening. And with not having a place for volleyball, I don't know where we would do that if we're not going to be able to do it in the Ortonville school. I don't know what the big schools would be able to provide for us or not, but we're probably looking at not being able to have volleyball or the crafts. I'm assuming we probably wouldn't be able to do bowling either with that situation and how things are proceeding. We definitely wouldn't be able to do games with baseball and softball. Not sure how we would proceed with that too, with sharing equipment. So I just put together an idea of what we could do to have something for parents and kids to do during the summer without trying to get people together and spread the COVID. So I looked up some ideas for some kits to get people outdoors and offer some ideas of free activities to do. And if they complete them, they can get a prize from us. It's nothing too special, but it's something to try to get people out and to do something during the summer. And hopefully we'd be able to maybe do something later the summer or early fall, maybe have some sort of get together, maybe some track and field or something, depending on where this all goes, but we'll just have to take it as it goes. And my hopes is that we could do this all at no charge to families and get it out there. And by the looks of what the budget of what Shar gave me, I think we'd have plenty of money to do that with leftover funds, with hopefully maybe using leftover funds to work on like the shed or purchasing new equipment for next year. So just kind of wondering what direction you would like me to go in and what you guys were thinking.
Hey Jill, this is Ashley. I mentioned some of your ideas to some family members with older kids that are in school and some of the younger ones, and they thought it was great to still be able to have something offered for them. And so I think it would be great for our community to do some of these different things, still engage them. We could even possibly do some Facebook type things with it as well. Very creative. I think it's a great idea. I think it's worth a try, my opinion.
Anybody else?
I agree with Ashley. I think anything we can do just to keep them a little busy and, you know, keep the parents from going crazy at this time. You know, they've been in a long time. So, yeah, I thought they were great ideas.
I think it's a great idea, and also because with us closing the pool, I think we have to, at least in the appearance, let people know that we are thinking about what's going on this summer, and we're going to do all we can to help. Should we just have a resolution? Why don't we just I'll make a resolution to go, let her go along with what she wants to, and to go up to $5,000, just so we have it. That's $4,500. She might not need it, but then she doesn't have to come back if something comes up.
I'll second that, Ashley.
Or is there any more discussion on it? We have to take roll call. Kim,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Mike, I can't hear. He said yes. Dustin
Yes.
and Paul. Paul say that.
Paul's muted too.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem with the mute.
There.
Forget to turn
There we
it.
go.
That's what I did last week. That's why I'm not touching my screen. I did that last council meeting. I watched it for the night. Resolution carries. We'll go on to consent agenda. All items marked with an asterisk are considered with one vote. Can we have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Excuse me, Gene, have we done something with the pool?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Would someone like to just make a motion that we go on Dr. Al's recommendation that we don't open the pool?
I'll offer a motion.
Dustin, my motion.
Jake did.
Second?
Ashley will second.
Okay. I guess we have to take, is there any discussion?
What Dr. Al said in the email was about the CDC's recommendation and how we would be able to maintain that. That as of right now, research shows that about 72 hours of the virus can stay alive out on like surfaces. And so the cleaning and how we would be able to do that at the but then he also talked about just how swimming we breathe deeper, and that's also a concern with the spread of the virus. Any coughing, sneezing, all of that when we're thinking about pool swimming. So those were the concerns that he had mentioned, and then stated in his professional opinion as a physician that we close the pool for the season. So.
Anybody else?
So, Shar, like if, say, come the end of June or whatever, things look like they could possibly open up, is that a possibility, or is it just too much to try to do it at that time?
It takes about a month to get the pool ready to go.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it would be kind of impractical probably
Right.
to open it for a month
I
at
get
that.
it.
I did have a call from Emily Ross today too. And you know, she's our summer pool director, and she would like to go in and do a little bit of upgrading and a little bit of getting ready for next year, ordering some equipment that's needed and getting one step ahead of the season for the 2021 season. And I said, with the budget that we have, I think that would be a good thought to do some extra, not cleaning, but just getting organized for another season.
I think that's a good idea.
I thought it was a good idea on her part.
Okay, we don't need a motion on that. Well, we do have a motion on that we are gonna close the pool. We'll have to take a vote on that again. Kim,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and Jake.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion carried. Okay, you need a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll offer it.
Mike,
Second.
somebody second, I didn't.
Jake did.
Okay, Jake seconded that. We'll do this on a voice. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we're down to the public hearing, so we'll recess from this meeting and we'll go into the public hearing. Correct, Char?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. We're in a public hearing, and this is on the reassessment of the parcel 22-1633-000. You want to, what are we going to, is there anybody on that wants to speak to this? Any outside participants?
If there's there are several on for attendees. All they need to do is use the raise your hand option. They might be just on to watch, but
If there's anybody watching and you would like to speak right now on the public hearing, please raise your hand.
I'm seeing no raised hands and no one chatting, so.
Okay, so what's our next move here, Shar?
I believe to close the hearing and then move forward with resolution.
Okay. If nobody has anything to say outside has to say on this, we'll close the hearing. Now back in session. Do we need a resolution on this now, Shar?
Dave, do you have a resolution lined up for
We will-
this?
I don't have it prepared, but we'll have it. And basically, what the resolution would be is to vacate the special assessments on this property.
Would
And
somebody
we'll submit that to you. But that's the action the council would be taking.
I would offer that.
have a first, we need a second.
I'll second Ashley.
Ashley seconded that. Okay. It's first and a second discussion. Go ahead, Paul. Raise your hand.
Oh, well, is this something we've done in the past with the property like this, or is it the first time?
I think we've done it before, but I'm not absolutely sure, Paul.
I just, I'm concerned about policy. If we have a assessment policy and, it's already in place. In fact, money is owed on it, and now we can just waive it, or is this for Paul Skinner, or who is this for?
Right now, it is for Paul Skinner, but Paul Skinner is selling the property.
Okay, then are you working on this besides with the city then, Dave, or how is that?
We prepared a deed for Skinner to sign to, and the council is obviously aware that Mike Dory is involved in this transaction.
Did, Paul, you said something before, when we talked about this before, and I haven't had a chance to talk to David on this. Did you say that you wanted, if this happens, is there a way we can have an attachment on that deed that says nobody, that land can't be broken up or sold to somebody else? If it's sold to somebody else and they build on it, or if somebody builds on it at any time, then they have to pay the specials? You said something about that.
You can, it's not done now, but if you look at those parcels, there's no way to build on it.
No.
Why is that, Dave?
You just look at the property and the railroad grade, and what could you build on it?
Yeah, so our engineer, Bob Sleeman, talking with him on not this lot, but just any lot in particular. And, his opinion is this day and age, you can build, if you've got the width, which is 50 feet in our ordinances, then,
you have the link. You have the link in the hillside and the rest of the stuff. So if he wants to buy it, he can buy it.
Right.
I mean, he should put his money where his mouth is if he says that's the way it is, so.
Well, my question is though, is there a way, David, or is it necessary? I guess the part that I would be most concerned about isn't down in front of Michael's house. Down at the other end, when somebody buys that, ends up with the Skinner house up on top of the hill.
Mhm.
Okay.
You can conditionally, I think I know where you're going,
Yeah.
Mayor, and you can do it. The problem is how are you going to keep track of it? Now, you have some lots that I'm not saying they were, basically they have special assessments on, but they're not hooked on yet, and they're doing exactly what you're doing here. But I don't know how we're going to keep track of it unless we tracked it into the real estate. And that could be done. But
You know what?
so 50 years or 100 years from now, you're going to bring it back on again because,
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's up to the council. You can do it.
Yeah, because it's been done up on Delton Silverstein property up on the golf course, right?
Yep. But that's a completely different deal in here.
How
His
so?
was talking about a massive assessment. And it was done to avoid the appeal that we would have had.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So too, Dave, wasn't that deferred at the time the special assessments were put on all
Yes.
those lots?
Yes, and that was because to avoid the appeal that we would have received because, you know, it was a massive amount of money.
So technically, couldn't we put these on deferred?
If that's the council's choice.
I mean, I'm not trying to
No,
trying to center Mike Dory and then turn around coming back him, but it's more how do we prevent at some point in time if somebody else gets that property and now adds a building to it, and it's, you know, I'm thinking more down behind the Skinner house, not over at Mike's house. You can't in front of Mike's house. There's no way to do anything because there's a tiny ravine there. I mean, unless you want to spend $100,000. But actually, that right away behind Skinner's house, there could be a garage could be put on that, and that's a buildable lot, right?
I don't know it is or it isn't.
Gino, there is no buildable lot there.
That he's purchasing.
How do you, isn't it just a 50-foot width as far as I know, that's a requirement, right?
50-foot width from the center of the track.
You know, I'm in favor of the resolution, and I'm not worried about what Mike and Diane are going to do to the property. I'm more concerned longer term, not down at the end of it, but at the south end. If somebody, I'm hypothetical, couldn't they buy say 100 feet behind Skinner's house and put a garage there?
There's no 100 feet.
You need additional from Skinner or for something new? So what is exactly conveyed today?
No, I'm not sure.
Well, they wouldn't, if
'cause-
Mike owned it, how would they be able to do that? It wouldn't be part of the, you know, sale from
No,
Skinner.
it isn't part of that. It isn't, you're right, Kim. It isn't part of it now.
Right.
But Kim, if they sold off the far easterly part that it abuts South Minnesota, you know, it could be a different owner and someone could that potentially would own the Skinner house, right? And then they would have a piece of property with free of assessments.
But how far down the road? And I mean, you know,
In reality, I
there's
agree.
plenty of land around Ortonville that, you know, nobody has to do that kind of thing. I mean, he's got a huge garage up there.
Any more discussion? So we have a motion on this, or is it a resolution?
It's not buildable in.
Do a resolution so you get a roll call vote.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. If there's no more discussion, we'll take a roll call vote. We'll start with Kim,
Yes.
Ashley.
Yes.
My wife's knocking the cupboards around. Jake,
Yes.
Mike. Oh, Mike.
Yeah. Abstain.
Sorry, Mike. Dustin,
Yes.
Paul,
No.
resolution carries.
Mayor, what was your vote?
I abstain. Resolution carries. All right, the next is, got any staff reports, Charles?
I don't think I have any. Maybe Scott or Jason have some.
I don't know.
If not, we'll go down to new business. 1B, purchasing of-
Mayor, did you do the Ortville Health Services stuff?
Pardon?
I'm on the phone here for the Ortville Health Services matters.
Whether, we can go, oh, okay. We'll go down.
Did I skip those or is that last one?
E, OHS, SBA funds.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no reason to change I thought I missed it, so, okay.
Oh, okay. So we're on 10B. Purchasing of the water tower lot. There was an email. Who wants to take that? Justin?
If I could start, Your Honor, and then you can go
Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
how you want. Basically, I believe these lots were included in the resolution that we would sell for $5,000 a lot, and they had to be built on within certain conditions. And if I'm wrong about that, then you'd have to find that they're available for sale and the rest of the stuff. But if not, you've adopted the conditions and there's really no reason to vary from that. If you look back at the time, the reason you did these lots was to get them built on, increase the tax base, and they were supposed to start building them right away. These people want to do one building on two of them and don't want to start building right away, so they don't meet either of your conditions.
Oh,
So then it's up to the council then.
Okay. Anybody want to say anything?
I feel that each lot should have a house on it up there.
I guess I would disagree with Mike, but I would say if somebody would be willing to buy two lots and put one extra large lot, I'd go along with it. But if they're not meeting two conditions, they don't want to build right away and they want two lots.
Gino, the thing, we gotta try to recap some of our money. You're gonna get a lot more tax on two houses than one house and a vacant lot.
Well, if he's, go ahead, Ashley.
It looks like Bill Wheatman actually would like to make a comment. He did put in the chat that they would like to build soon. They're having trouble with COVID pandemic. I don't know if Vicky wants to unmute Bill Wheatman so he can talk quick.
Yes, I can. I hadn't seen him raise his hand, but I will go. And Bill is now unmuted, so he can speak.
Good evening. We are looking at trying to build it on that extra big lot. We are trying, working with a company in Watertown that actually subcontracts with a building company in Madison. And part of the trouble that they're having right now is due to the COVID pandemic. So they're pushing back some of their jobs, and because we haven't been able to sign a contract with them because we're waiting for the land part of it and a decision from the council tonight. But they're anticipating that it would be outside that 2-year window in order to complete the building, I guess. So the extended period is that we're requesting is due to the pandemic, not that we don't want to build. We are currently renting, and so we would be looking to get out of the renting as soon as possible and build as soon as possible.
Go ahead, Paul.
Well, thanks, Bill, for the interest in these lots. I guess I would be in favor of doing this, and the reasons being, if one lot isn't large enough for the house they potentially want to put on here, that they need two lots, I guess if it comes down to tax dollars, a $400,000 house versus two $200,000 houses, I think it's a wash. I think it would be good, and it is, it is what we wanted to build houses up there.
Anybody else? I guess if they're out 2 years, is this something that rather than make a decision tonight, definitely, that we could, it might be easier say a month from now, when we might be able to be in a meeting, or let planning and zoning come up with a recommendation? I mean, they already said they can't do anything for 2 years, and it's not like he's at the top of the list to buy the lots, and if he doesn't buy them, they're gone. I don't think we have to worry if planning and zoning looks at and gives their opinion. I don't think it's going to set anything back, really, is it?
Could we enter into a purchase agreement for him so that we could enter into that, hold it off a little bit longer so then it still falls within the guidelines maybe? I think, I agree kind of with Paul. We're gonna get back on there. So I'm in favor.
The problem with the purchase agreement is it'll have the terms. The terms will set the price. It'll set when he has to build by, and which will be outside the parameters.
Well, is there a way to make changes to that?
Only if they agree. And they don't have to agree.
It sounds like though that Bill would be pretty agreeable to extending that, because they have to be, is it that they have to have their building, the house completed by the 1 year?
Yes.
Okay.
It start within a year and finished within 2. And the problem is that there is nothing, construction isn't covered by the governor's actions, as you can see out in the street. So obviously there's all kinds of people doing construction activity. And I don't know if this is one big house built in the middle and it doesn't fit, or if it's such a big house that it would not fit without both lots there. With the setbacks and everything else, it might be just, I want to build it in the middle.
We have Bill Powell on the Planning Commission who would like to speak. Can I bring him in?
I would rather than talk about it right now, since we're not under a deadline in the decision has to be made. I'd rather the planning and zoning talk about it and then come to the city, to the council with their recommendation, just for the sake of moving along. I don't think we're going to be able to make a decision totally tonight. Paul, go ahead.
I guess, it was brought up at planning and zoning because Tim Swanson is on planning and zoning, and he's our building inspector. So he's seen the plan. He said it looked like a good plan, and he didn't see why we couldn't move forward on it. I can't speak for all of planning and zoning, but it appeared to be a consensus there that it would be a good plan.
Has Bill said how much the house is going to cost?
Is it going to be, I think what Mike is essentially asking, is it going to be a pretty substantial size house?
I guess, Shar, could you speak to that? I hadn't seen the plan.
I haven't seen the plans either. I've never seen them. So I think that's kind of pertinent to the whole conversation here. If we know what size and what needs to be on these lots.
Mike, I'm not opposing this. I'm with you, Paul. I really don't think it makes any difference. But what I don't want to see is them to take a double lot, one of the lots to put their house on, and I don't know if we can even do it, but I'd like to see it halfway centered on the lots, so we don't end up having essentially a vacant lot next door to it. Just, you know what I'm saying? Or is that something we shouldn't even be concerned about? I just,
And my concern is that he'll build a medium-sized house and then put a huge pole barn in the back part of it.
well, he's still regular, he still falls under building and zoning on putting what he puts out back can't be a pole barn, has to fall within the planning, within the zoning. Paul, you know more about that. It's restricted on size, but it has to be the same as the house.
I take, Gene, I take your recommendation that we delay this for now.
If we could get more information on it, I'll vote in favor of it. I don't see where the difference between now and a month from now, unless Bill comes back on and says it's a drop dead if we don't do it right away.
Is Bill want to speak again?
He has put in the chat box, we are looking at a single family home with an attached garage on one level.
I don't really think it's up to the city council of where they place the house if we give them 2 lots. It's
Right.
their home. If they want a big backyard for their dogs or children or for themselves or anything, I think that's a little bit too much control, to be honest. Tell someone where on their lot they can build their house and how big or little it can be. It's selling 2 lots. I mean, they're not going like hotcakes to get a house on.
I agree, and this is a bird in hand. I mean, the last couple of years, I've been told by some people on council that who's going to build a house up there? They're not moving. Well, now we've got our chance. Let's take it. You know, let's do this.
It's $10,000 in the pocket.
I say instead of delaying that we vote tonight.
I agree.
Make we can just have a motion. No, that has to be a resolution.
I'll offer a resolution to sell the
You-
2 parcels.
You have to do it by ordinance. You're selling real estate, you did it by ordinance, and you have your other conditions before.
Can we?
So you're gonna change, you have to change that
Okay.
ordinance if that's how you're gonna change it, so. Which will cause a problem with getting it done, because you got a first reading, second reading. Because you did it by ordinance before, if I remember right. If you didn't, you didn't, so.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll need to change the ordinance to allow for the building to be completed.
No, the conditions were though, actually, yeah, and he can't make those, he can't meet those conditions. You know,
Correct, so we need to amend them.
Change the ordinance.
To sell the property, and
Sell
these
it.
would, whatever the terms are what the council says.
So David, a question for you. Not to muddy the water, but if we change the ordinance, or we make the ordinance to sell these 2 lots, can we still have those other lots that don't have to go through this all over again and sell another lot?
Yes, but if you change the terms, you have to change the ordinance to
Okay.
say lot number 1 and lot number 2 or whatever.
You want to do that, Ashley? You can have. the
Yes, I
first-
do.
So we're gonna have an ordinance to sell these 2 lots specified later, $5,000 apiece.
With 1 building in 2 years or whatever the heck it is, so.
Yes. Need a second?
I'll second.
Paul
Paul.
seconded. Is there any more discussion? Okay, so this is the first reading. We'll roll call. We'll start with Ashley,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
No,
Kate,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
myself, yes. That was the first reading. So then we just have a second reading next time, or I keep forgetting this. Do
We have
we
the
have
second
to-
reading. Yeah, and then it has to be then 30 days after publication before it takes effect.
Okay. That resolution carried. Next. Mail ballots for primary and general election for 2020. You want to explain that, Shar?
I do. I was contacted by the county auditor's office, and there's a concern about the primary and the general election coming up this fall about election judges and people wanting to come to vote. If you have a precinct or of less than 400 people, you can do it by mail ballot. Our precinct number 2 had 384 voters at the last election. So the county auditor's office was wondering if we would like to do mail ballot for that would create probably less than 400 people in our armory here for election, and then do the regular type election for the precinct number 1. It's going to cost about $1,000 to do it this way with the mail ballot. It's a little more expensive, but we are going to have a little bit more of a trouble with election judges and people wanting to be in an area that's not very large sometimes with numbers of people.
Is that your recommendation then, Shar?
Yes, it is.
We need a motion on that?
A resolution, it's in the packet.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is only, we can change it back after this 2020 election. We can change it back to the normal way if we want to at the next primary and general election.
Okay. Resolution, somebody want to make it?
I will. I think it's a great idea.
Second, anybody?
I'll second, Ashley.
Paul? All those, roll call again. I keep forgetting it. We'll have it. Paul,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
myself, yes. Resolution carries. Down to waiver penalty / cold weather rule for May. Do we need another resolution on that?
I think we should extend it for another month. Last month we had less people delinquent than we had normally, so we haven't seen a real concern, but I think if it helps out a little bit, it is kind of nice for the people that are struggling.
We need a resolution on that.
I'll offer it.
Paul,
I'll second.
who seconded? Tim second.
Yes.
Roll call again. Jake,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
myself, yes, resolution carried. Okay. David?
Yep.
You're on. Go ahead.
Okay, basically, as I understand, you've heard before from Dave Rogers that OHS has made application for payroll protection monies from the SBA, which would be forgiven if conditions are met. The document and the loan has to be closed tomorrow, and the documents are prepared here. We received a resolution from attorney in the cities that is doing the bond stuff for the city, the general bond stuff, not the hospital bond stuff. And we received that at about 4:55. You can proceed to this in two ways. One, you can proceed and we can get the resolution to everybody. And if you could have a meeting by the same process and we adjourn to noon or 1 o'clock tomorrow, that would allow us to do that. And you could see the resolution ahead of time. We would normally say that you would pass the resolution as substantially formed, submitted, The problem is that we didn't get it until like 4:55 and you didn't get it. So we can try to get it to you, but it'd probably be better if we did it tomorrow in that fashion. Basically, what the loan is, it's about $2.1 million. If it goes as expected, it would be forgiven. It'd be used to pay payroll and some other coverable expenses for OHS.
Can
And
we
that's how that's how it's set up. So
For your approval for Dave or what?
well, we are finishing it, but it's something that you should be able to at least see. You saw it, and that's why I would like to wait until noon or 1 tomorrow, and then you can see it. But basically, the resolution is relatively straightforward. It basically says that you're going to borrow the money under the specific SBA program. The application was authorized, and you're going to comply with, the OHS is going to comply with it. The issue is that it has to be from the city as opposed to OHS, because the city controls OHS. So the city does not, OHS does not have the ability to go get the money themselves. So it has to run through the council.
I'm gonna stick my neck out here. I'm gonna say, I am not available more. I just think that the resolution, it's gonna go through.
It looks like Dan Burns, attorney at Tape Law, stated, he's the author of the resolution. He said it's substantially final form and that he could email it right now.
Okay, you have it then. Okay, good. Okay.
So if we could get Dan Burns' email addresses, then we could receive it, look at it quickly, and then we could vote.
I can forward them to Shar, and somebody can send it then. Okay? Because I have it here
Good.
by email.
If you have a paper document that can be sent to me, I can put it on the screen.
I have a paper one, but I can't do it, but I can forward the email.
Yep,
It has
that'd
it
be
in it.
great. And I'll download it and I'll put it on the screen as soon as I get it.
This is Shane.
Forward it to-
I have it open.
Let's go on to the next thing and then we'll come back.
You have it open? Did
David,
somebody say they have it open?
Yeah, this was Shane. I have it open. However, I'm not able to present. So somebody would need to either allow me to present it, Vicky, or email it straight to Vicky so she can.
Yeah, email it straight to Vicky, Shane. You got more technical stuff than I do. Okay?
Okay.
Dave,
Yep.
do you have any concerns for the city with this, with our bonding and everything?
No, and not because Mr. Burns is also representing the city. It's the same firm that was Mary Ipple, and so I don't have any concerns with it. He has also done this for, I believe he said, 1 or 2 other healthcare facilities that have went through it and gotten the funds, because our concerns were, you know, did we qualify? Did we do this other stuff? And basically, everything is disclosed, that who is getting the money, is the city of Ortonville getting the money. So everything will be, you know, I don't have any concerns about it. I was more worried this morning than I was now. Okay.
Okay.
My concerns are pretty well eliminated. Based upon a conversation, I think we had about 1 o'clock, and then communications we received since then. And Dave Rogers and Shane were on the phone together with Mary Ipple and some others. So Bill Tyne was on the phone. The main thing is the time sequence. We have to have it done so they disperse tomorrow.
So Vicky, can Dan explain this? Is Dan available to see this?
I can explain your resolution for you.
Okay, I can
But
bring
I don't
Dan
know,
in,
I
or
don't know that Dan is, so.
I can bring him in, or however you'd like.
Is he here? Is he on the phone?
I can pull him in from an attendee if you want.
Why
him to-
don't
Okay, if he's
you? He has
attending, yeah,
a,
pull him in.
Okay,
Or is everybody, there, I read it,
I've read it.
resolution on this, did you, Ashley?
yes, I did. I think we were gonna bring Dan in here and he'll unmute himself and I think he's gonna talk to us as well.
Hold on one second, we're getting my audio squared away here.
are you seeing the resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
I
And
mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I did bring Dan Burns in. He'll have to unmute his device.
Hi, this
I
is Dan
think
Burns. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Sorry for the delay there. I had to unhook my laptop from my display screen. But if everyone can hear me now, were there any specific questions to the resolution, or do you want me to walk through?
It seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I would agree. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you think about the types of bonds that the city of Ortonville issues, you can have taxable or tax exempt. This bond will be taxable, so it does not have to comply. It will not be under any sort of scrutiny from the IRS. It is also a note that is not a general obligation of the city, and therefore the full faith and credit of the city is not pledged to the note. The note is strictly would have to be paid back from revenues of the hospital, but as the program that the SBA has created is that it's a forgivable loan. So as long as the hospital uses the proceeds for eligible expenses, predominantly payroll, and then keeps those that staff on board, the entirety of the loan will be forgiven. If you're familiar with the program, it was kind of an emergency quick pull together here because the SBA just decided kind of out of the blue, like, oh yeah, if 501c3 hospitals are eligible for the program, we want to make governmental hospitals eligible for the program. But when they made that decision, they weren't thinking about state law and the requirement to issue bonds. So unfortunately, we had to fit our triangle peg in a square hole when putting this together. And so what you have before you is a straightforward resolution authorizing the transaction for the hospital. It provides some flexibility in that you're just approving the forms of the documents and substantially presented, and gives a little wiggle room to provide any extra documents before closing tomorrow. So I'll be up late tonight drafting all the documents and emailing out to all the respectable parties so that way we can close tomorrow. I will need to know, though, I think one of the questions I put up in the chat was that one of the signatories to the documents would be the mayor. If the mayor is unavailable, I would need to know who the acting mayor is in place. So if you read further down the resolution, you'll see authorization to execute and other documents. I have the, I'm trying to
Mike?
remember how I put it as I think someone mentioned, this is I'm doing three of these deals, three of these government hospital deals simultaneously. So I'm trying to keep them all straight here.
The,
But
the vice mayor would be Mike Dory,
Yeah,
so we can supply that.
wonderful. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll send the additional documents tonight, but the resolution allows for the execution to be done by either, I'm pretty sure it's the mayor and then the administrator clerk, and then if they're absent, unavailable, the next acting officials.
Right. Would be vice mayor, which would be Mike Dory. Yep,
Wonderful.
that works.
Thank you, Dan.
so we have a resolution already that we'll take a roll call again. Jake,
Yes.
Ashley,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
myself, yes, resolution carries. We're down to 10F. Did everybody get a chance to look over the golf board meeting or the golf board minutes?
And I just thank everyone for that. We appreciate you passing that for us.
Thank you. You bet. Sorry to keep it so long. Did everybody look at the golf board minutes?
Yes.
They were submitted late, so I didn't think it would be right to put them on the consent agenda. If everybody received them, would somebody like to make a motion to accept them?
Just a question. Is Adam going to be doing takeout or anything, or is he just not opening the restaurant that we're going to wait on?
It's not worth doing takeout. So until the governor allows restaurants to be open, he won't be open. He's taking green feed. Need a motion to accept.
I'll offer. Ashley.
Second,
I'll second Paul.
now we have to do another. Ashley,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
myself, yes. Do we want to just put off Eric Bakken for another day? Or do you guys want to discuss it, or-
What is he trying to purchase again?
The land behind his house over by those lots we were talked about earlier.
Did Paul,
Yes.
was planning and zoning looked at this?
No,
Um,
just, I guess just send it on to the council. I mean, it's kind of a council decision on that. It is the decision.
well, I don't know, where's the planning then coming in? I mean, I'm not for or against this. I guess I would like some recommendations or some guidance on it. I mean, if in the long term, is county commission thinking about it some point in time that they would like to expand the street down? Because once this happens, that's never going to happen, or doesn't it make any difference to them? And then we got to decide on, since it's city property, the next thing we'd have to do is declare it excess property, don't we?
Gino,
You'd have to go through that.
Yeah.
Gino, you broke up in the beginning. What's this about?
This is about Eric Bakken's, that property, you know where Eric lives over here,
Okay,
and
okay.
about buying that extra lot. So I think, Dave, did I hear you in the background say that if we want to do that, we got to go through a process, right?
Yes, this is not covered by the other ordinance.
Yes.
This
yes.
is something entirely separate.
So if we
You'd have to
declare
find it surplus
or
and then
surplus,
go on from there.
and then if we want to declare it surplus, that's the first thing. And the second thing is,
Maybe vacate the road too.
you know,
I'm not sure that the road is there yet too.
it's plotted, but that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would be there in the recorder's office. It could well be there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of that
Why would that be, Dave?
because it's going to run right down through the middle of it.
No,
And if we,
no, Mark Drive is to the south of it. Or which road are you
Okay.
talking about?
that's what I thought. There was a road that was going to come around there through that area, if I remember right. If that's
No,
wrong,
there's-
it's wrong. I'm talking from my memory, so.
Okay, well, there's a map included here in the packet, but Mark
Yeah.
Drive is to the south of it. These lots are directly behind his house, I guess.
And I think there's still, Mark Drive is still there on the map.
Yeah,
That's not-
Mark Drive keeps going down to something else.
It goes along, Mark Drive goes to Lindell, basically.
Right.
That was kind of the plan of past councils to develop these 7 lots, and then if they would sell, then we would have those other 3 lots that could be developed for future sales.
So I'd have a question. Dave,
Yeah, it is on the
or,
map,
excuse,
Paul.
Shara, how did you sell the other lots like on Lundell? Was that surplus
We did-
property then, or do you remember how they went?
We didn't own those lots on Lindell at the time they
Oh.
were sold. They were
Okay.
They were owned by which I suppose the Lindell family at one time, or the Stagners. They owned all those and they developed it before the city took it over back in 2000, I don't know, 5,
So-
6 or something.
So how about FG's then when we sold them that lot? How
We
did
didn't
that
sell
go?
them- We didn't sell them that lot.
Next to the west of this?
That's that one. Yes, we determined that to be surplus property, that half of that lot. At this,
Okay.
that was only in 2000, I'm not sure of the date, but it's not been very long, but we owned this property back when we sold that lot to NG's, or that half a lot.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter one way or the other, but it's lots here. I mean, if it was the case to put it up for sale, it would be open for anyone to buy. Is that correct?
Yeah, they'd have to, I mean, if you put it up for sale, the only thing is excess, you'd have to be on bid.
Right. So do we want to just have lots and just sit on them, or what is, that is the question. Why do we want to just keep these lots and mow them twice a year?
I'm in favor of declaring surplus to start the process. I mean, we can't say, yeah, we're going down to Eric Bachman. We can declare them surplus, and I'm in favor of getting rid of the lots. I don't see that being developed, but you got to declare them surplus, and then if you declare them surplus, then you have to take bids on it. Is Dave, are you still?
Yep.
Yeah, we have to do, it has to be a bid process, right?
Yes. Because it's not covered by the other
No.
agreement.
Okay.
By the other resolute ordinance.
I think we should sell all or give away all the lots in Ortonville, and then the people could build outside the city limits.
Well, these 2 lots, Paul, if you want to make that a motion to declare them surplus property to start the process.
Okay. Is that a motion or a resolution?
I think it's a motion because we're not selling.
I think it's right. I think it's a resolution, so you can.
Okay, so I would make a resolution to offer we might as well do all 3 lots. 1278, 000, 010, and 011.
And none of those were in the other one?
No.
No.
Can we have a second? I'll second it, so we get some discussion.
So now, remind me, was Eric just looking at the one property directly behind his home, or did he want more than one?
I think in his letter, there's two.
There's
two, okay.
Actually, two lots, because he's got, those lots are that big in front.
Mm.
It's not
So-
making the lot any wider and back.
So then we would have one more lot that we would still need to mow and maintain, right? Unless somebody buy it.
No, actually a half a lot,
Okay,
because that 17000 is actually a half of that, because MG's own the other half and the city owns just half of that.
Just for information, Dr. Elross paid $7,000 for his lot so he could have it behind his house.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble, folks. My battery's going low.
Yeah, I don't think we're setting a price here. This would be, this would be a bid process or however that
It has
works.
to go. So the resolution on the table is only to declare those three lots as excess or surplus.
Correct.
I'd second that.
Yeah. Any more discussion? All those in, no, I can't do it. We started roll call again. Paul,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
No,
Kim,
Yes.
Jake,
Yes.
Paul, or I'm sorry, Ashley,
yes.
myself, yes. So what's the next step? David?
Next step would say, okay, it's declared surplus, then we would seek buyers.
And how do we do that?
You can go through your realtors, you can just straight advertise,
My suggestion is,
say it's available.
I think my suggestion on these is somehow we actually get an advertisement out, we go through the real estate agent, because it's just gonna be fees, and we know two of them. Do we set a base price?
what's that?
Should we set a base price, David?
You can, it's kind of like, we don't know what will occur here, so. If you set a base price, that means you're gonna sell it for that price as opposed to just make an offer.
Well, if you set a base price, that's the beginning of the bidding, right?
You mean the
Hopefully,
reserve, I believe, right?
Yeah, a reserve, like Jake said. Like
But
they would need to meet the reserve before it could be sold.
you can, but that doesn't necessarily set the floor. If somebody comes in and says, I'll give you 25% of what your bid price was, you're gonna take it or leave it, right?
okay, or what your opening price was.
Yeah.
Council, what do you want to do? Should we just have Char?
I think do it as we've done other surplus property. Char, how's that work?
Well, that works fine. We just advertise in the paper that we have used the surplus property. I mean, we only advertise in the local paper. It's
Right.
not like when you have the realtors have it on, like they have it online. I mean, you may get more bidders that way. I don't know.
Do that.
This is just for clarification, David, this is to you. On the map that I'm looking at, there actually is, like you mentioned, there's a road. It's not, we haven't done anything with it, but there is a road. If somebody buys these three lots, any of these three lots, I'm assuming that if a road would ever go through, those properties would be special assessed for the cost of that road, correct?
Correct, if they did it that way. If you follow current policy, that's what would happen. But you also would recognize that they're not getting utilities and the rest of the stuff off of that road.
Yes, yeah, and I don't foresee that the road's going in, but it is there.
Right.
Now, another question for you, Dave, because it'll come back. If those lots are sold, could those owners, whoever buys them, come back and ask to vacate that?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it would go half and half is how we would normally do it.
Yeah.
Half would go to one side and half to the other side.
Okay.
Are you selling those just for people to build on specifically, or just for like extra yards for the ones that have houses on the other side?
Right now, you'd be selling it specifically and no conditions. You can go to anybody.
Yeah, and Sam, I mean, the policy now, if they wanted, whoever bought it wanted utilities, sewer, water, they'd have to pay to put that in anyway, wouldn't they? I mean, that's how that would go.
My question is that Mark Drive was there to possibly expand down the road. And so just as far as if someone bought the house, if someone bought it planning to put a house down there, they'd have to either just run their own service line all the way out to where Mark Drive is now, rather than if it was developed, with a road, it would be out in the road instead.
Right, because the right of way there is still not going to change. That's going to stay the same. But yeah, they'd have to buy it knowing that, whoever potentially wanted utilities.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what I guess my question was, that, do they plan on building a house, and then, how do you get utilities there? If you vacate that road, I'm assuming you're not going to keep the right of way then if it's vacated.
Well, I don't think this resolution has anything to do with vacating.
No, I was just asking that question for clarification.
Yep. No.
Okay.
Okay, so we passed the surplus thing, I guess. Then Shar, just advertise it in the paper, the property, and we'll see what we get for bids. If we're not happy with the bids, people, we don't have to. Again, David, if we don't think we're getting enough money, we don't have to accept it, do we?
Nope. No, you have the choice to sell or not sell, and sell it at a price. If you make an offer, I will sell it for X dollars, then you probably have to.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions on that? We'll just let Shar, we'll see what we get on. The only thing left, so we want to make a resolution to pay the bills.
I'll offer, Ashley.
Actually,
I'll second, Paul.
we'll go through the names again. We got to start meeting live. This is going through these names is killing me. Ashley,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Dustin,
Abstain.
Mike,
Abstain.
Jake,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
myself, yes. Anything else anybody has?
Gene, I would add too with this, we're still moving forward on the cleanup day,
Yes.
May 15th and 16th. And we've got over 100 pre-registered. We are looking for potentially some volunteers that could help Friday or Saturday or both. But plans are moving forward on it.
Oh,
Very
Any-
good to hear.
Good,
I will
yeah. 100
volunteer, Paul.
That's good. Anybody, anything else?
Mike, do you think you could kind of put some in the paper about volunteers needed for cleanup?
Already did.
Well, thank you, sir.
You know,
problem.
you gotta admit, that Mikey is on top of it.
Thank you.
only if he's got his daughter sitting beside him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is there anything else? Okay, we're adjourned. Give me a call, Paul.
Okay.
Okay, we're adjourned.